Good evening and welcome to Friday Night Fools Rush In. Rest easy. I know in what has been a very difficult week, whether it's the teachers, the rail staff or the medical professionals being on strike, we didn't want to turn your week topsy-turvy anymore, and I've made sure that there was a panel available to discuss all things STFC. But before all that, let's roll the titles.
Take my hand, take my whole life too, but I can't help falling in love with you.
And as has become customary in recent episodes, we've been sent a question. Well, this time it's not so much been sent a question, but tagged in a question for our opinion. I offered mine online, and I'm going to put it to tonight's panel. But I want to know your thoughts as well. So now ticking along the bottom will be tonight's big question. Is there a place for mashed potato on a roast dinner? Let's start with someone who is, literally had his fill of potato tonight. Good evening, Friday Night Was.
Oh, evening, Fifey. It's good to be back. I hope you can hear me.
We can. Very loud and clear.
Yes. It's great to be back. I've had a busy couple of weeks, but nothing better than a Friday night with the Fools.
And listen, we don't mind a little bit of shameless promotion on Fools Rush In, do we? So you are very high on life right now because you've just had what you described as an unbelievable chippy.
Oh, fish and chips on a Friday. What a dream. After a few beers at the pub after work. Could be a very lively water, I think, for the next hour and a half.
Until you crash.
Yeah, until I crash and burn, yeah.
So on tonight's big question, where do you stand? Would you be willing to have mashed potato on a roast dinner?
I absolutely adore mashed potato. Love it. It could go on a roast dinner, no problem at all. Even alongside roast potatoes. You couldn't go without roast potatoes, so it's got to go alongside.
No, absolutely. I'm very much the same. I said that I wouldn't opt to do it if I was making one, but definitely have done it on more than several occasions at a carvery.
Yeah, when it's at a Toby carvery, you're scooping mashed potato on as much as the roasties as well.
Next up, let's say hello and good evening to everyone's favourite fool. Hello, Nick.
Hiya, Fifey. How you doing?
Very well, thank you, sir. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm really good. Yeah, looking forward to discussion tonight.
Now, Nick's had a very busy day as he featured on a different podcast earlier this evening, previewing the game for a up-and-coming Newport-based YouTuber. How was that, Nick?
Yes, it's very good. Just watch out, Ben. I'm catching you up. So knocking the podcast out, looking for more.
And sir, I have to ask you tonight's big question: mash on a roast dinner?
Not particularly, just big plate full of roasties. Plate full of roasties. Mash takes up too much room. Roasties and nice thin sliced rare
mate,
beef.
You're doing it wrong, because mash, you can put so much stuff like in the mash. It takes up essentially no room.
Mash is fine in its place, but
it soaks up a lot of stuff. Mash is
no. Roasties. Plate full of roasties.
Wazza, we've got a message in for you here. Best chippy in Swindon, Phillips in Gorsill. Used to be on the Magic.
Very good shout.
Yeah, they were good on the Magic Roundabout, definite.
Yeah, that's the guy who used to be on the.
Yeah, it was good
Magic
then.
Roundabout. Very good. Yeah, very good.
Just Sean's put roasties as well, by the way. Just to clarify, we're not suggesting mash in place of roasties. We're just saying, does mash have a place on a roast dinner? Well, me and Wazza are saying mash and roasties.
Yeah, but look how big you are. Look at the size of you.
I was about to say, by the size of us, we could probably fit mash and roasties on the same roast dinner.
We do have one more full lined up waiting to go as well. And it is a young gentleman who I'm sure is going to be fairly timid tonight and not disagree with anybody and have almost nothing to say. And he's purely here just to make it an even number. Good evening, Ben.
Hello. How you doing, boys? You all right?
Very well. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks. Not too bad. Looking forward to another show tonight. It's going to be a cracker, I think.
You've been a busy boy yourself, convincing everyone over the last week or so everything's going to be fine. We had loads of deals lined up. Yeah. We're going to talk about deadline day in just a second. But all in all, mate, all good?
All good. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Roaring up the lead.
And tonight's big question, mash on a roast dinner?
Do you know, but giving this a bit of thought. Now, when I first heard about it, I was like, no. And I can see how it works. You got like chips and the gravy and the mash as well. And make sure you got cheesy mash. However, you need to have roasties. And is double potato, is that allowed? A double potato?
Well, let me put it to you like this, Ben. Is double denim allowed?
Double denim?
Yes.
Not really.
Depends who's wearing it.
And therein lies the answer, Nick. If it depends who's wearing the double denim, it depends who's eating the double potato.
Yeah, well, it really, because you can have obviously the potato in the potato with the peas and the gravy and all that, and that would work in some sort of mashup. But I would be
mashup. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I would be very, very, very disappointed if I sat there. Oh, roasty today, roasty. Sat there and over my shoulder come the roasty, and there was a pork or the beef, all the little trimmings on the side, a load of mash, and no roasties.
But again, let's just clarify: we're not saying no roasties; we're saying mash and roasties.
Mash and roasties is passable. Roasties is the most important one, though.
Absolute side note here, judging from what you've said, is where people stand on the giant Yorkshire pudding, where people then put stuff inside of it. I mean, for me, it's a winner.
It's a winner, but it's not a proper roast dinner.
Oh, hang on, Ben. Hang on. Before we come on that, can we all just say, Joe, WTF?
What?
Joe.
Look at Wazza's face.
No, Joe.
Joe.
This one's for Rich. Wazza literally can't speak. He cannot speak.
Neither. You can't call it a roast. I'm sorry, Joe, but you can't call it a roast dinner.
It's like having a roast without
Joe definitely is a new potato kind of girl, isn't she?
Is that a Brummie thing?
No. No. My ex has family in the West Midlands, and they're fucking welling on the roast potatoes.
What on earth?
Right, let's get back. Ben, what were you going to say about the giant Yorkshire?
I've forgotten now. I've been thrown.
That's totally thrown him.
Yeah, I've totally
gone.
I think it's like a cuisine type dish. If you do it like that, it's not a proper roast dinner.
Cuisine.
You made it all fancy because you put it in
Stratford.
So someone's had a couple of days off and been watching Lunchtime with Gino and Mel, haven't they? Fucking hell.
cuisine.
Double denim with budgets.
Mike there say double denim is very BBC Wilts. A slippery slope to half and half shirts. Why have mash with a roast? That's to go with sausages.
Yeah, 100%. I'll go with that. Mash, sausages, gravy.
But potatoes are versatile. They don't. The thing is, so Nick, you're now going to say like you'd be insulted by me because when it comes to sauces on roast dinners, I only like applesauce, but I will have that with chicken, turkey, beef, pork. You're going to say, oh, no, it's got to be horseradish with one. It's got to be fucking cranberry with one, applesauce with one.
I don't have any of it. No sauce.
Well, lads, listen, we're 10 minutes in and we haven't actually mentioned anything Swindon Town. Very good, Mike. Well done. Waffly versatile. The potato waffle as well. What's this one here? Don't mock Joe, lads. I get to eat her roast potatoes too. It works for me. Superb. Right, we have got games to preview, but I want to start with transfer deadline day. It ultimately, in the end, it turned into a busy day. We had a new coach, so one new head coach, one new player, one returning player, one permanent player, and one leaving player. So all in all, Ben, and let's just keep it to deadline day just for the minute if we can. With that in mind, 5-star day for you?
I'd say it's a reasonably good day. I wouldn't say it was a top day because we're a centre-back short. But I thought it was. I think it was important that we replaced everyone that we did. We didn't replace the centre-back. But other than that, I think the rest of the squad's pretty much set. I think I'm quite happy.
Okay. Nick, what was your overriding emotion when the window slammed shut?
Well, it didn't slam shut in my house because I went to bed and sleep because I got bored with it. So, yeah, nothing much was happening, was it? But I do agree with Ben. A centre-half would have made it. You can say we're probably a 4 if you're going 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. I'm quite happy with it where we ended up. So, not a major problem for me.
Okay. Was it?
Yeah, a bit boring. I agree with the lads. We were centre-back short. But that's come out in the news, isn't it? Recently, it looked like they were trying, and they've got. We just couldn't get it over the line, paperwork or something like that. But no, overall, I think it's a great. You know, what I mean, we've done all right. We've brought in a striker that's scoring goals at our level for us in Charlie, and I think Blake Tracy is the best part for what we've done on deadline day. Blake Tracy signing is very good.
Well, we're going to look at the squad in a bit more in-depth in just a moment. I want to focus on what did happen on deadline day. But before all that, we're going to have to go back 2 minutes, I'm afraid, because Paddy's tweeted in, and I've just seen it. At Fools Rush In, evening comrades, before the serious football chat, the real burning question is, which old school treat is better? So, Wazza, I'll start with you. The Arctic roll or the Viennetta?
Oh, Viennetta all day long. And you could even go to mint Viennetta as well, because that's different gravy.
Oh, I would pick mint Viennetta over the normal Viennetta anyway. But yes, I'm in agreement. Viennetta wins that without even thinking about it. Nick, I bet you've never had either, have you?
I have, actually. I would go Arctic roll for me.
Arctic roll, okay.
Yeah.
And Ben?
Can I add jam roly-poly with ice cream into the mix?
No, that's cheating. No, you can't add that.
Well, no, Viennetta all the way for me. I love it. I bought Viennetta really the other day because they sell it in the shop up the road, and obviously we give it to the kids, and they're like, "Waff it out, oh, it's amazing." However, Sarah didn't eat much of it, and she left most of it in a bowl. Viennetta doesn't melt.
It does eventually.
It does, yeah, but it was like 2 hours, and it was still there, being Viennetta.
Yeah, but that's a bit like how a gatto is left to defrost for 3 hours before you can eat it.
Yeah, it's just like it's not proper ice cream. Then it's just got other things with it. But...
Yeah, it's all the crap that's in it.
I have one more food-based question for you now that Ben said that before we can get back to the proper chat. I heard a segment on Radio 1. Yes, I do still try to claim to be young enough to listen to Radio 1, and I'm tempted. to try this, and I want to know A, if you guys think it's possible, and B, if you would try it as well. They do a section called "Is It Just Us?" and this woman rang in and said that her colleague at work, to help him sleep at night, drinks a pint of custard. So I initially, as a massive custard fan, said, yeah, I could do a pint of custard. Now, bear in mind, I'm the guy who, as you know, I can't down a pint of anything. But I'm like, a pint of custard, yeah, no problem. And then I thought, custard's quite thick. Yeah. So I phoned the pros and see their thoughts. So I did what all 33-year-old men do in this sorts of time of crisis, and I rang my mum. And I went, Mum, I reckon I could down a pint of custard. What do you reckon? She was like, well, that's a lot of custard. And in the end, I got she sent me a picture. By the time I got to work, we've measured what a pint of custard looks like for you. And it's like just this normal bowl, but the custard is right up to the top of it. And I'm looking at this picture thinking, that's a lot of custard, but it also looks doable. So what we thinking, lads? Pint of custard downable?
Again, it's doable, but I think it's still going to give you a bit of a bloat after. You're gonna
Mate, do I look like I worry about bloating?
I know, but you're going to have that little bit of I'm going to undo that. I'm going to wear your joggy bottoms or undo that top button. Because you're going to bloat.
This is the sort of scientific talk people switch into full social. What's a pint of custard? You a custard man?
I do like a custard, but I don't think I could do a pint of it. Like you, I couldn't do a pint of anything, to be perfectly honest, straight up down the hatch. So I'm definitely with you that I could, I'd give it a good go. But the custard's best place is over an apple crumble. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
so that's for me. Yeah, I couldn't down it, though.
And Nick?
No, I definitely couldn't down a pint of custard, because I think if I got anywhere near it, I'd be plastering the walls because it would come straight back up. So no, not for me.
Just catching up on the chat, so we'll start on Twitter. Jason's put, Nick, it's got to be bangers, mash and onion gravy.
Yep. Go with that.
Archer's put here, Yule log Viennetta is banging. I don't think I've ever had a Yule log Viennetta.
Yule log Viennetta?
Mike saying, I haven't disagreed with Nick on anything so far tonight. Defo Arctic roll.
Yay, we're on a roll.
And then followed it up with waste of custard, put it on the jam roly-poly, Ben suggested.
Yes.
Right.
Before I interrupt, can I just give Breen some breaking news?
Before I interrupt by interrupting?
Yes. Give us some interrupting breaking news.
Go on.
Yeah, right. What I was going to say, today, I dropped the phone in the bath. Disastrous.
Where? How the fuck did what?
Well, I dropped the phone in the bath. I was running Freddie a bath, and I was on my phone, and it flipped to the hand and fell in the bath. I had to grab it out.
This is what happens when you average 13 tweets a day, Ben. You've got problems.
I wondered why his tweet count was down today.
And I was like, shit, fuck. So I've been drying it both sides and everything, and then I've been gave it a minute, then I'm like, this all works absolutely fine. And I was like, right, does the sound work on it? It's usually these sort of things, like water gets in it, fucks up, isn't it? It's the sound on it. Sounds worked absolutely fine. After a little initial, a little bit, it's fine. So just before it starts, I'll get my phone, charge it in. Water detected in your iPhone. We can't charge it. And it's like, oh shit. So I've sent Jack upstairs. Sarah's hairdryer's been on it, and he's come downstairs with the double thumbs up. I've just plugged my phone in, and it's charging.
Well done, Jack and Sarah's hairdryer.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd give some acknowledgement there for some top work today.
Sean's doing the traditional sticky roll of rice
because it draws out the water.
Well, I feel that we're now 20 minutes in, and I'm surprised that the viewer count is still there.
Don't get us those strangers.
So, Bet, no, actually, Wazza, let's start with you on this bit. We're carrying on with the deadline day chat just for a moment. Sean's put, isn't it refreshing the club turning down bids? About time.
Yeah.
Yes.
brilliant, was it?
You talking to me?
I was,
Yeah, perfect. Yes, I totally agree with Sean. Like that, Johnny Williams, as much as I love the Blake Tracy business, that was because I think we were all sort of set that at the start of the day when the bids were coming in for Williams, you're thinking that Swindon are going to cave at one point and they're going to give in and he's going to be gone. But I think the Morris effect, Jody coming in, he's obviously down with Williams or had a chat with Williams. And I think that's probably swung it because, you know what I mean? You read a few things and they said that Williams would have been open to the move. So, you know what I mean? What can we say? It's a massive piece of business. And that's my brother, by the way. Do you know what I mean? Hello, Effie, go to bed, will you? Go to bed. But yeah, it's a massive piece of business.
Nick, was said there, but the Morris effect, how good was it to finally get it over the line?
If we hadn't done anything else and ended up with the same squad and getting Jody Morris in, that would have been good enough for me, to be honest. He is just his press conferences, just the way he talks. He wants the whole team, the whole club, every member of staff to have an elite mindset. And if you get that from bottom to top, you're halfway there. I think from what he's already said, he doesn't think the players are fit enough, which is a bit of a sad thing if they're not fit enough. And he's going to be like Di Canio. He is going to drive those players. And they know they've got to perform, you know, as long as they're at the club, on the pitch, on the training, they've got to perform. So, breath of fresh air. Love his press conferences. He goes into a fair bit of detail. Very interesting with what he says. You know, he's been with some fantastic people. Vialli, I saw a clip of an interview with Vialli. God bless him. Morris had in. You know, I'm as excited as the other managers we've had. Hoddle, Ardiles, Di Canio. He's up there with the best of them, without a doubt.
He was very inspiring, that press conference, because I didn't know too much about him. But honestly, you listen to that press conference, and he's got a clear vision, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like a clear vision of how he wants to go about things. I think it looks so positive. The proof will be in the results, won't it? But you know what I mean? Fingers crossed. If he can hit the ground running, you know what I mean? Everyone's going to be on side, and it'll just be amazing, won't it?
Well, the players are going to know where they stand because he said we'll get difficult discussions out the way straight away. There ain't going to be any messing. There ain't going to be any pussyfooting around. And I guess was said. Probably had that conversation with Williams to say, look, this is what I want. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. You're going to fit into the plans and I want you on board. So it's brilliant.
I'd love to know how Jeff took it when he sat it down and said, look, mate, I know you're in on loan, but Adeloy's my boy. Again, Ben, I'll come to you in just a second, but catching up on some of the comments here. Mike saying, every time someone talks about Morris as our manager, I panic. Mal passes back. And then to Ben, we've got first from Twitter, Jason saying, only 13 tweets a day. Ben, what were you doing with your phone in the bath? And then Arch saying, modern phones are shit. Give me a 3210 any day. Drop those fuckers in plenty of pints, and they still worked. Bulletproof bastards they were. Paddy's tweeted in, I agree, fellas. Jody Morris spoke really well. Everything he said is encouraging. FBT signing permanent and Tomlinson on loan. Happy days. Ben, I'm going to give you the outgoing because you already kind of said it in your first piece there. We didn't actually manage to replace our outgoing captain centre-back.
Yeah, McDonald, I was a big fan of him. I quite liked him because he could defend, but he didn't fit into our way of playing, our philosophy. And McDonald would be an outstanding player at someone like Stevenage, where his job was just to defend and hoof it. He'd been outstanding.
Ben, don't do this again. I beg of you, please, Ben, I'm actually begging. Stop sweeping statements. Stevenage are going to win the league.
They are.
And you're talking about them like they're some tin pot piece of shit. They aren't even in the football league.
Right, okay, well, I'm just saying, Pierre Giuani, absolutely fantastic at Stevenage. He's been one of the best centre-backs in the league. He can't pass for shit.
5 feet. In Ben's defence, like I love a defender that can just turn up to defend.
Yeah.
But at this club, at Swindon, we seem to think that every defender we have needs to be a ball player.
Yeah.
Like I do not get it. Like I would love a defender every time that can just come in and head the ball, tackle. You know, I mean, I don't care if he misplaces a pass every now and then. I can't defend the McDonald thing. If it's true that he missed training to push the move, then yeah, that's put me right off him. But you know what I mean? He got a lot of criticism in his time for performances, which I think was a bit harsh. I think he's one of those. He's an old school defender that heads, tackles, and kicks the ball. And at League Two level, you need a player like that.
Yeah. I think we're going until he's replaced. We're going to miss him. Until he's replaced, we're going to notice what shape hole he's going to miss. I think we are going to dip into the free market, like we did when we bought that posh guy a few years ago, one with the hair. I think something like that could come in.
With the hair.
I've not actually really spoken to Morris about Morris.
Jason's just on that point quickly, Ben. Just on that point, Jason's tweeted in, not short of a centre back. We have Mino Goat.
We have Mino Goat, but Mino Goat's only played one EFL game. It's a lot to ask for him to be the heartbeat of a promotion.
Whoa. Hang on a minute. You can't say that when you were on Twitter just yesterday saying how the lad from Bristol City is an excellent signing because he's made 2 championship appearances. One of those, as I pointed out, was literally for 1 minute.
Yeah, but he's not going to be started. I don't think he's going to start every game. And Mino Goat is, I get what you're saying about that. And Mino Goat is a goat. But I think Mino Goat needs gradually putting in, whilst we wouldn't be signing the Bristol City guy without him actually being a first team player. Mino Goat's a League Two player. The other guy is a Championship player who's just trying to bake him. But yeah, going back to the Morris thing anyway, he's given me the same sort of excitement vibes that I got back in the 90s when these managers would step down straight out of retirement and join us with clear visions and revolutionary ways to play, like your Marns did and your Hoddles did and all that. I'm like, oh, it's just exciting. I'm getting that sort of vibe back. And to stay, I know he's had a couple of sly digs at Lindsay as well, which also gives a big tick on my box. Yeah, I just said the way he talks, you can tell he's based his whole career at a much higher level. And he's going to have that influence. And then he's used to also winning things with younger players. And he knows how to encourage those younger players and get them younger players believing in themselves and getting them better. And he's also had good first team experience. Look, his last job, he was a Champions League coach, assistant manager to a Champions League side. And he's in League Two. What the fuck? I think he's a massive coup. And I've read a few other fans' opinions from other clubs and stuff going, he's going to fail. And there's loads of green-eyed monsters going around. I think he has potential to be huge. So I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. And everything that comes out of his mouth at the moment, it just confirms that for me. He might turn out to be absolute shit, but I somehow doubt it at the minute. I just can't wait.
No.
I can't wait. And I hope fans give him the time. Even if he starts slowly, I hope fans do give him the time because he could be one that pushes us up back to where we belong.
Well, whether you believe we are a centre-back short or not, what a lot of people are actually saying the best business done on deadline day was the permanent acquisition of FBT, which Jason's tweeted in here, linking into that. Modern-day football defenders have to be comfortable on the ball. That's part of the England DNA coaching model. Yeah. And if FBT ends up being that sort of 4th/5th auxiliary centre-back when called upon because of his experience, he would certainly fit that model, wouldn't he?
I don't think Blake Tracy's going to be 4th or 5th option. He's going to be there. He's going to be a big part at centre half.
He's the lead centre half now.
He is. I think that's the way they're going to look at it now. I think they're going to fit players around him that can play the left back position. I think Morris is going to work on Iandolo in that position. I think Lavigne obviously can play there. There's loads of options, and we don't know the system that Morris is going to play. But back to Blake Tracy, the guy had probably a shoddy debut for the football club, and I think a lot of people questioned why we'd signed him. But the character that guy's shown, he is a very solid professional. No frills, no spills, just a proper defender. And I agree, he could be that he would be that next level above McDonald because he's got that comfortable. He's good on the ball. He can find a pass. You know what I mean? He can head it. He can tackle it. We showed at Bradford, didn't he? Put his head where it hurts. You know what I mean? He's a proper defender. And I was speaking to a mate of mine who works up near Burton, and they absolutely slate the guy. They think he's one of the worst players that they've ever had, which shows that sometimes the club just fits the player. And I think this was really good for Blake Tracy. I think the interview that he put about, I thought was really good. It feels like he just wants to settle down at a football club now. He wants to stay somewhere for a good few years, and he really wants to settle in. And everyone going on about captain material, I think he could be the skipper. I honestly do. I think he could be an absolute sound shout. I think, you know what I mean? I think Morris might take a few weeks to decide. I don't know. But I could see Blake Tracy being the captain of our football club. I think he is a very, very good signing.
I have to say, I was enjoying all the tweets and stuff that more or less were saying the same thing. Like the reason it took so long to be announced, every time they put the drone up in the air, Blake Tracy was heading it. So it did make me laugh. Last one then for you, Nick. We already kind of mentioned it with Ben there, but the sort of left field signing that we made that no one kind of expected was the young midfielder from Bristol City.
Yeah, obviously I don't know anything about him, but he's obviously highly rated. He gave a good interview. He said he's a box-to-box midfielder. Looks like he's going to be strong. He's going to be do the work rate. And, obviously if you're coming from even, as hard as it is to admit it, Bristol City have probably got quite a good academy and they're bringing decent players through. So, that's obviously going to be a good signing. So be interesting to see when he gets on the bench, when he gets a start. And, looking forward to seeing him.
Definitely.
Is that Theo?
This is Theo, everyone.
Theo is a footballer's name.
Yeah, wave.
Theo. You've got to be a footballer, Theo. Good old Theo.
Oh, bless him.
Cheers. Mike saying, evening, Theo.
I'll wave at everyone. Say hi. You going to bed now? Bedtime. Love you.
Okay.
Bye, Theo.
Bye. Theo.
Arch saying, I'm happier FBT wanted to sign than us signing him. He said he wants to play at a high level, so he must believe we're going places. And someone to throw the band to if Charlie comes off. Paddy's tweeted in, says a lot when I've spoken to our fans of Rivals in Yellow about all things football, and they even see getting Jody Morris as a real coup. Our future does seem brighter. Yes, mate.
Just something on that Bristol City lad. If Nigel Pearson raves about him, that's good enough for me. You know what I mean? He is a well-respected guy for me, Nigel Pearson. And if he thinks this lad's going places, that's good enough for us. Do you know what I mean? He's a good judge of character. And I think, this lad, he could be a surprise package, this guy. I think he could be really good. Someone with a bit of physicality in the middle of the park, likes to put himself about. He's a presence in there, and I think he could be, fingers crossed, a really good acquisition.
So we're going to dive a little bit deeper then into, has the transfer window been a success? Before we look at the squad specifically, I put the post out on our social medias. I'm interested to know your guys' thoughts. So all in all, I rated our transfer window around a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. Nick, what would you rate it?
I'll go 8.5 out of 10. Excuse me. If you go into this sort of detail, obviously Tomlinson, he's coming on loan. That was just to get it over the line, and obviously, pretty certain we're going to sign him at the end of the season. We've got Kane in, who say is quality from what we've seen on that half a performance, and talking with a Newport lad today, I think he played 24 games for Newport last season. So, he's not coming in with absolutely nothing behind him. So he's going to be used to League Two. Kadji, you just talked about. Fraser Blake Tracy on a permanent, brilliant. Charlie Austin, we don't need to say anymore. We've kept our loanies. We kept Bryn. We kept Brennan. We kept Jepcott. so that keeps the squad strong. And more importantly, we've kept Iandolo in Williams. So to me, it's been just fantastic business. And add Jody Morris on top of that, don't get much better than that for me.
Okay, Wazo?
I totally agree with what Nick said. I'd even rate it a point higher. I literally think that we were just that one centre back short, and it's a real shame with that Tottenham lad, because I had a little look into him while the day was going about, and I was thinking, yeah, he could have been a really good, really good acquisition. And you forget, little thing, I don't know if you're going to bring this up later, but Lewis Ward happened today as well.
Oh yeah, forgot him. Yeah.
And we've got a number 2 keeper back. You know what I mean? That's going to push Bryn. Bryn will know that he has to keep up to his standards now, and he has to, has to play well. But yeah, I totally agree with what Nick said. Massive bit of business keeping hold of Williams. I think Jeffcott's going to only get better under Austin, working with and alongside Austin. And I think the best bit is getting that head coach through the door. Yeah. Morris is. I just hope he's everything that we've been hearing, like Ben said. I just hope he's that level, because if he is, it might not happen this year, even though they're going to go for it. But you've got to think next year. You know what I mean? If we can keep the players and build on what we've got a really solid chance. But I hope it happens this year. But no, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
just the centre back short, which we can deal with. You know what I mean? We can play players in those positions. Whether we're going to play 2 or 3 centre halves, we don't know. But I think for the time being, we'll probably stick with 2 because of the numbers we've got. But we've got players to come back, haven't we? We've got Harry's to come back. I don't know how long Harry's is going to be out. Some people keep saying that it could be a long time, but I don't know.
Clayton.
Yeah, Clayton's. Oh, yeah, don't even get me
Gav
started.
Gunning can come back as well. Remember, we got Gav Gunning's registered.
Yeah, well, you never know. He might get a game at this rate with the centre half and keep losing. He might actually get a game.
He's number 27. He's got a squad number.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, Nick hit the nail on the head. When we can get Clayton back fit, he's going to be first on. And him and Blake Tracy alongside each other, that could be a partnership like we were raving about McDonald and Clayton. Blake Tracy and Clayton, wow, that could be even better, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Ben, yourself?
I think it's been a pretty good window overall. I'm actually probably the same as you, 5 on 7.5. It would be an 8.5 with a good defender, quality defender. I would have liked personally to have got another centre midfielder with a lot more experience, sort of a 28-year-old with League One experience. Ideally, to make it like a 10. But I don't think that's realistic, because I didn't think we're going to sign anyone like that at all this window. And in my mind, I prepared not to. So it was probably, if we signed a defender, it was as good as I could possibly have wished for, really, realistically.
Just to add, sorry, Fivey, just one more thing. And I know, and certainly on our WhatsApp group in Swindon Wide, the guys taken a lot of stick. We've got to give some credit to Sandro. I mean, to me, if he's done nothing else but get Jody Morris across the line, that is great business. And obviously, he's been involved in these bringing these players in. So I think we need to give the guy a bit of credit. When he was at the press conference the other day, again, he got a lot of stick, but I listened to it, and I don't think there was anything he said that was outrageous. So fair play to him. For me, getting Morris over the line, that's credit in the bank.
Can I second that as well? Because the squad that he's built right now is good enough to challenge the top end of this division. So he's done what was asked of him. Yeah. He does not speak very well on public sometimes. Like his disastrous interview with Saul just did him no favours at all, because I don't think he's a football man. I think he is a
statistician.
Yeah, someone works in data anyway. But football's not natural to him, so I think he involves himself too much in numbers rather than the end result. But this squad has a good chance of getting promotion, and we've not had a massive budget to do it. It's not one of the best in the league yet. It's competing with the best in the league. So I think he does deserve some credit. His biggest fault was hiring Scott Lindsay. That was his biggest boo, and he's now made up for that.
Go on, Fifey.
Honestly, I just can't. I can't. I've lost the will to.
But it's right though, isn't it? Because his biggest
No,
boom
it's
was
not right.
Scott Lindsay was his biggest error that could have cost us.
Ben, it was literally what, 8 weeks ago? You were saying Lindsay was going to get us promoted.
No, I never said that.
I can almost assure you, if I go back and watch some Fools Rushing clips from October, November, you would have said that Lindsay is good enough to get us promoted.
I wanted to give Lindsay's. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to give him the opportunity when people were writing off at the very beginning. I thought I could see a pattern that we were working to. With me and Scott Lindsay, I think I was right behind him. And then when we went on and we beat Mansfield 3-2, 5-2, yeah, I thought brilliant. He's picking things up.
Get comfy, was it?
He's learning. He's cracking on. He'll kick on. And it's like, when you've got this, like a disobedient child or a child.
Yes, I know that one.
Yeah. And a child's a bit of a wrong one. And then they start showing signs of actually they're putting their life back into order. And then all of a sudden they go back to their old ways. And it turns out they've learned absolutely nothing. And
I wasn't talking about Aiden, by the way.
No, I'm just saying that it turns out that Lindsay had learned absolutely nothing from the beginning of the season. Nothing. None of the players had really improved much. The performances weren't any better. He just had a good few weeks, a good October. And he's just a poor coach, a poor man manager. And
Ben, I started talking about Sandra, not Lindsay.
I know, but Fifey started hand in hand Lindsay, so Lindsay had to go. And I think we'll see, hopefully, the squad push up.
Fifey can't cope.
Absolute nonsense.
No, none of it's nonsense. None of it is nonsense. I am valid. Everyone wanted Lindsay out. They
didn't, Ben.
Yes,
the hierarchy didn't want him out.
No,
they didn't.
That was an error. I think someone would want him out. It was time for London.
Was there a load of options at the time when Lindsay come in? If this is a subject that we're going to go on to, I don't know if there was. I think
I wasn't planning on it.
No, I know. I'm going to try and defend it now, Fifey. All right, yeah. I don't think there was a lot of options about at the time. I don't know whether we went through it as vigorously as what we did this time. I don't know, but I hoped Lindsay did really well, but it just hasn't worked out. I don't think we need to crucify him, Ben. You know what I mean? I hope he does well for Crawley.
I hope he does well at Crawley. Honestly, he's a lovely man, and I wish he does absolutely brilliantly at Crawley. I don't think he will, but I hope he does.
And on to if I can have my say on the Sandro thing, I totally agree with both of you two, 100%. I think that the next 3 to 4, the next 4 weeks or the next month is going to be massive to see how the players settle in and how it works and how Morris starts. But yeah, I totally agree. I think he deserves a bit of credit. If we were quick to crucify him and slate him, then he deserves a bit of, a bit of praise for what he's done. He's brought some good players through the door, popular players that Swindon fans have seen before in the likes of Tomlinson, getting the Blake Tracy deal over the line. I think he deserves a bit of credit. And if we're quick to slander, and this is what sometimes all fan bases are the same, I think you've got to give the guy some credit. And I hope that the team now step up and do it. And I hope he can, he's had some bad moments, but at the end of the day, he's a director of football at a League 2 football club. Do you know what I mean? If he was that good, he wouldn't be with Swindon Town, would he? Do you know what I mean? So let's give him his credit when he deserves it. And yeah, rightly so. If it doesn't work out, then he deserves the the negativity against what he's decided. But
sorry, was a finish point there? Sorry,
I said 2 weeks ago on the pod, I said to him, if he gets a good head coach through the door and a good few signings, he deserves the praise, and he does deserve the praise right now. And now it's up to the team, up to Morris to show that trust and faith, and let's go for it. Let's have a good go.
So, as you guys have taken it upon yourselves to decide we're discussing this, in the interest of balance, at 10 p.m. on Tuesday evening from my actual Twitter account, my 507 account. I wrote this exact tweet. Unless this last hour of the window turns into supermarket fucking sweep, Sandro has got some serious questions to answer, and I will send him an open invite for a one-on-one interview on Fools Rush In, where I will not have to unleash the other panelists to tell him how pissed I am. And I'll be honest, and we were discussing this off air, he's been rescued by a late loan after fucking up another deal. Yes, the Jody Morris deal is superb, and the Austin deal is superb, and we hope that the other players that have been brought in are really good. But I said that transfer deadline day itself was meh, and the window has been slightly above average. It's been acceptable. He should have, if we are to believe the ridiculous amounts of leaks that come out of our club, generally by agents and staff within the clubs, you would imagine. I think that there was potential there to do more than we have done. And if he is in charge, credit where it's due. I like some of the deals that have been brought in, and the players I don't know, I won't judge until I've seen them. But I've rated it lower than everyone else because I think there was room for more. And if he is in charge of recruitment and his spreadsheets are that good, then it means he's still fucked up somewhere. Because, and I'll tell you for why, Blake Tracy doesn't count as a new signing. The business is good, but he doesn't count because he was already there. He's at the very last minute.
He was out of the loan in January, so you know.
No, don't get me wrong. But he was already at the club. It's not a new transfer. He's done a good bit of business, but it's not a new transfer. He's saved his ass by bringing in a player who's injured for 2 weeks, but he knew the fans would like because he's already been here. He's a local lad. The fans were already on side with that. And the head coach, as you say, very, very good appointment. I'll give him props if it was his decision to bring Morris in. I can't comment on the Bristol City boy. I don't know him. It's not, he has not done exceptionally well. He's done one or two bits well and then covered his own arse with other bits, in my opinion. And I would still, I mean, he doesn't, I know this, but I'm going to put it out there now. Open invite, anytime you like. Fools Rush In is here, either one-on-one, and we could discuss this, or as a whole panel, where they might soften the blow a little bit, because I still don't get all this, Sandro deserves a lot of credit. I don't think he does. He is at best performing average at his job. No, in my opinion.
Fifey, what I said was he deserves credit for getting Morris over the line. That is what I said.
Yeah, you can have credit for Morris.
Yeah, so that's what I said. You can argue about the other players, and I guess it would be good if you could get a one-to-one with him, because what we don't know is how many other players were they trying to get in. At the end of the day, we are a League Two club. You know, players could have been offered deals and rejected them. All sorts of things go on in the background that we know absolutely nothing about. But just to reiterate, for me, getting Morris in was the major thing. And if he did nothing else and had no major other inputs to those players, so be it. But as I said, that gives him some credit in the bank for making that happen. Simple as that.
Even on that, which I'll agree. Again, I will agree that if it's been his decision to bring in Morris, I will give him credit for that, because I agree it's an exciting appointment. But that means on deadline day, there's been 4 people sign contracts with the club, and he's getting props for one of them. 25% hit rate is not that great.
What more did you want, Fifey?
I was hoping,
apart from the centre half.
So apart from the centre half, which obviously factors into that,
yep.
Like Ben, I was looking for an experienced central midfielder, probably more of a holding midfielder, if I'm honest. Now this, like again, the young lad from Bristol City, he may become that, and because I don't know him, I can't comment. But I was looking for that. I think we still needed, and well, we'll come on to this in a minute anyway when we review the squad. But I wanted an actual proper winger within the squad, and up to that point as well, I still thought we needed at least an experienced backup number 2.
Okay, yeah,
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I think the key was I don't know if the deals maybe would have already been there, but like you say, I think.
Well, remember, Ben told us they were done 3 days before.
Yeah,
well, I said that there's potential they could be done 3 days before.
I think they were waiting to see what left the door. Do you know what I mean? And I think they were surprised. I think a lot of people were surprised that Ellis is still here. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people were thinking, you know what I mean, is he going to still be here? Crawley were very interested. Lindsay would have been very interested. I think Ellis offers you so much more with the versatility that he offers. You probably don't need another player. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Ellis can play so many different positions. Unless you're going to get an improvement on Ellis, then you don't bring the player in. Unless they're going to benefit you or make a difference, you don't need to bring them in the door. Unless they're going to improve on what you've already got, then there's
I
no
agree.
point bringing them in. And I think they've obviously gone mad with this Bristol City lad with the recommendation from Pearson, and that is good enough, like I said earlier. You know what I mean? There would have been loads of players being offered to Swindon Town. You know what I mean? Jody Morris on that last day would have had so many people ringing him going, hey, mate, here's one of those you've had a look at. Let's take a punt. But you've got to trust the likes that are already in the door, that if they're not going to improve it, there's no point bringing them in and wasting the money on them. And that's what I think. I think Ellis offers us a massive load of versatility. You weren't going to get anyone any better than Johnny Williams. No one. There would have been no one in the market better than Johnny Williams. And that was, like I said earlier, the best bit of business to keep him.
Without jumping in on you, Wazza, because we're going to come into each position, so you could say your piece on all the players as we come into their positions. I will flash this last comment up before we get into that. AC saying, Ben said there was no way we'd sell Gladwin without a replacement. Gladwin was gone for over a week and we didn't replace till the last seconds of the deadline. Right, let's start at one end of the pitch then, if we can. So we've got the goalkeeping situation. Now, I like many, have heard I don't believe I've seen Ward's been officially announced yet as signed a contract, has he? I don't think I've actually seen that. So
official, no.
I think it's been announced he's training with the club.
Yeah.
So what I've done here is we've got Bryn, Bran, Copland, and Ward set to return. So who wants to take the goalkeepers? On the assumption Ward signs, are we all pretty content that we're well stacked at goalkeeper?
Yeah, pretty good. Yep.
Nothing else really requires saying. Bryn will remain number one.
Yep.
Ward will come in, and I think we'll all be a lot more comfortable with him at number 2. That's no disrespect to the young lad who's been covering, but you want him to develop in the usual way.
Yeah, he needs to go out and get games, doesn't he?
Yeah, might give him the chance to go out on loan, and you know what I mean. There's options there, so having that steady number 2 makes a massive difference.
Okay, let's move swiftly on then, if we're all comfortable. And actually, no, Ben, I'll start with you on defenders. So I've listed what I believe to be all of our defensive options there, including What is a Divine, Harry's and Baudry injured at the end there as well. Now, I believe, forgive me, I don't mean to laugh, but I believe it was you who put in our WhatsApp chat, it looks like we've only got one fit centre-half for Newport, and it was one show who replied, well, who knew we might be short of centre-backs? Look, as you look at that list there, do you have any concerns with availability?
Long as Clayton's on the verge of coming back, I think Newport's a good game not to push him back to. I think we could possibly get by with an emergency cover to play alongside Bryn if required, or Blake Tracy if required, depending on the fitness of Lavinia. But fullbacks, we're good. We're good.
We arguably have the best fullback options in the league,
division.
haven't we?
Look, with Hutton, a lot of clubs are towards the top of a sport with one player like Hutton. We've got Hutton and Tomlinson on each flank. That's going to be quite hard for both teams to keep them both quiet. And then we've got Lavinia as well. If one of them gets hurt, they can also play on either. It's amazing. So even if one goes down, we still don't get any easier to play against. Centre backs, we've got a left back that can play just as happy at centre back. He's going to be our new basically leader, and the others are quite young. Clayton is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, no problems with him. Brennan has always been a bit of a question mark, though. His performances has improved a bit. Mino is going to be a good player, a little bit of an unknown quantity. Pardon me. What's his name? Johnny Lighton from the advert says he's absolutely certain that Swindon are going to pick up a centre back on the in the free market. So we just see what's available and who we pick up there.
Yeah, but I won't believe it until you've told me it's definitely happening, and then Sky report it.
Yeah, no, it's what 5p. Centre back's on his way, mate. Don't worry, it's cool.
Excellent. You've only been telling me that for about 10 days. So
Can I just have a...
And even forgets next summer, I told you there's one coming.
When it comes to... Nick, I'll come to you in just a second, but this feeds into the point you were just making. So you've got that list of names there. I've tried to keep them sort of in their positions as best as possible. So we've got FBT, we've got Tomlinson. We believe that there's something there called Divine. And if needed, as you said, Ellis can drop back there as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's panic stations with regards to the centre half. So I you know what I mean. I honestly don't. I think there's a bit of cover there. We just got to get the players back fit. It depends on the system that Morris wants to play, isn't it? And it was quite intriguing in his press conference. He was actually quite surprised that Lavinier been playing like fullback or wing back. I don't know where he used him when he was
played centre mid, I believe, in Chelsea's
youth team. This is the thing. So maybe we didn't get that centre midfielder in. Is Lavinier going to pop into that position? You don't know, do you? So there's going to be a few surprises. But I'm glad we've got some more down the top end of the pitch and like down the full-back position. Centre halves to centre halves. You know what I mean? If we keep Blake Tracy and Clayton fit, there's going to be no one else to even challenge him for me. I think there'd be the two if we're going to play with the four. I don't think Brennan's as bad as people think. I think he's had a few really good, solid games. I just don't think he's had enough. He's been in and out of the team, and that hurts you at centre-back. If you're not in alongside a regular centre-half partnership, you could show that when we've been playing our best football is when we've had a solid two at centre-half. And I think that's that problem. But look, I'm not panicked about it. If there's someone in the free market window that can be good enough to step in and be a good option, then yes, go and get them. But I wouldn't be too worried.
On that note, Jason again is putting, are you guys forgetting Mino Go? I don't think we are, I think we're cautious. We're all very positive about the player he could become, but we're cautious about making him our necessity go-to centre-back.
I've got no problem with age. If they're good enough, then they're good enough. It doesn't matter what age they are. If they can fit in the team and they're in there, they're in there. But like I say, we've all seen many young lads come on and have a good few games for us, and then they haven't carried it on. So I'm hoping this guy will break the mould again, and hopefully he'll step in. But I think we could do, unless we have a really injury hit problem again at centre-half, I think he's going to be fourth option. It'll be Blake Tracy, Clayton, Brennan, and Minturn. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully he gets a few minutes and it gives us a chance to see him more often. But there's no doubt he's a prospect, but you don't want to be chucking your hat on him at the moment to go, oh, look, let's get us out of League Two with this lad playing at centre-half, because I just think that's a bit unfair on him to start.
Nick, you wanted to make a point about the defenders as well?
Yeah, I personally don't want to see Blake Tracy as a centre-half. I want him back into his left-back position, and I think that gives the defence a better balance. So I would like to see him left-back. Now, where that leaves Tomlinson is a different question, whether he pushes in front of Blake Tracy, because Tomlinson's... I think he did the interview today, and he was talking about he likes attacking. He wants to score goals. He wants to, move forward. So that could be an option of a left-sided midfielder. So I would like Blake Tracy at centre half. Brennan and Clayton.
No, you want him at left back, Nick.
Sorry. God, sorry.
Nick, the only way I can see that happening though is if we play 5 and that he goes the left side of that centre back free.
No, I'd have him at left back. I'd have Clayton and Brennan. I'd be quite happy with that. And then whether he leaves Hutton at right back, and then you can push others in front of that. So that if it was a back 4. That's what I'd like to see. Yeah. But just on that, from what bits you've picked up from Morris, it seems we're not going to be a static setup week by week. He seems he's going to change it around to suit A, the players that are available, and B, who we're playing. So we could have 3 at the back. We could go 4-4-2. We could go 4-2-3-1. We could do all sorts of combinations. And I think this is probably the benefit of having somebody like Jody Morris, who thinks a bit wider than the basic sort of League Two coach manager. So we're going to see some different formations and different players coming in, and he's going to use the squad. And we're not necessarily going to have a settled 11 week after week. So, exciting times ahead. But just sort of reiterating, I would rather have Blake Tracy as a left back.
Okay. Let's move into midfield. And what was interesting as I was checking through the squad list, putting this together to try and make sure I didn't miss anybody, was that a lot of players seem to have returned from their loan now. So I've included them in the mix. So the midfield options got Kaji Khan, Kane, Iandolo, Williams, Darcy Aguiar, Dabry, Dworzak, and Kari. Now, the last 2 names are interesting for me, Wazza. I'll let you start the midfielders, because I know that the likes of yourself and Rich, among others in the group, have said that it wouldn't surprise you if a couple of the younger players started having more of a say in the team.
I think Morris is one of those coaches that he thrives on working with younger players and getting the most out of them and improving them as players. I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of the Dworzak come in and, and give him a punt. If they sees that they're good enough in training, he will not be afraid to give them a chance. I actually think that this is where we're actually very solid, and I think we've got a lot of depth. When you think even Aguiar coming back now from his loan, where he's got a few minutes on board, but you look at it in the order that you've put it on the thing there, it's going to be Kaji or Khan. In that, for me, I'd like to see with this Kaji that he said that he's a box-to-box midfielder, and I'd like to see Morris play as that box-to-box midfielder as well. Now, whether that means we're going to play a 2, which gives you that nice bit of balance.
Wait, what? You want to see Morris play?
Oh, I'd love to see Jody Morris play. Yeah, definitely, 100%. It's whether we play. Sorry, if we play that 2 as like a pivot, like we've always been talking about, or whether we play that 1 in the. Whether we play that 1 in the 10 position, I think that could open it up for Johnny Williams. I've been raving that I think we need to see Johnny Williams in the 10. Yeah. I think he's wasted wide. And I think if you have someone like Kane who's full of energy, Khan that's full of energy, Kaji, Iandolo, Darcy, Aguiar, they're all players that are full of energy and that can make...
Let's be honest, even Dabry isn't short of a bit of energy, is he?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. They're all there that they could sit a mixture of those lot in the 2. And then for me, Williams plays every game. And
so what I should have done was put everyone else's name and then just Williams.
Yeah.
So it's all of these Williams.
Maybe you should have done that, but go on to that. But everyone knows how much of a Johnny Williams fan I am. I think he's the best player, not only in our team. I think he's going to be up there with one of the best players in the league. And I think if you give a guy like that the freedom and the opportunity to create and create chances for us, and that comes from having 2 solid midfielders full of energy, full of, endeavour, to make it work for him. I think the likes of Khan, Kane, Kaji, Iandolo, they could all do that. And then I think you've got that option. I think Darcy should play higher forward. I think he could be that backup to Williams if we needed to.
Yeah.
Because he's got that about him that he could make something happen, Darcy. But I think our midfield should be all built around Johnny Williams. And whether that means playing 2 people behind him to give you that little bit more protection so he can do what he wants, that's good enough for me.
Well, it looks to me, Wazza, that Ben is bored of the double pivot because every time you mentioned it, he started yawning.
No, I think he agrees. It's not that. I enjoy a good double pivot as much as anyone else. So,
Nick, looking at that list of players as it ticks along the bottom of the screen, I said one of the things I was looking for was an experienced holding midfielder, someone who was just going to be quite happy to sit there, do the dirty work and nothing more. Do you think there's enough ball winners within that midfield?
Well, we haven't seen Kadji, so we don't know what he's like. Khan, yes. Iandolo, if his head's screwed on and he's doing what he needs to do, yes. But you could also add to that list possibly Tomlinson and Divinier into midfield, because as I said earlier, if the fullbacks Hutton and Blake Tracy, there's 2 more slots to fill. So there's so many options that you can do. I mean, sometimes you can have too many options and get confused by what your best setup is. But I'm sure Jody Morris would know exactly what he wants on how he wants the players to play. So basically, you've got 2 players for every position, which is what every coach would want, and then that gives him plenty of options. So, yeah, I as that stands, I'm quite happy with that. I don't think we need to add to it. And they say with the other 2 people that have been playing fullbacks, yeah, we're fine.
Okay. And then slightly further forward as we work through midfield, Ben, as was said, potentially build it around Williams. But if he's unavailable for whatever reason, whether injury, suspension, international duty, with the likes of Aguiar, Darcy, is there enough creativity there in backup?
Yeah, I think Darcy, obviously he's not had much of a game time since Lindsay's left, and I like to see Darcy getting into the box a little bit more than he was allowed to under Lindsay, where I think he was mainly playing outside for 35, 40 yards from the box and trying to do what he can then. I think he likes to pick up the loose ball and drive with it, and I'd like to see him do that. I think he's like a mini Williams in that sort of sense. Aguiar as well. He's a different type of player, but can play that 10 role, and he'd like to get shots away. So we've got options there if needed. We've got defensive options if needed. We've got some box to box there. We've got lots of energy. I think that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that midfield.
Okay. Just to add to your point, Nick, at times earlier this season, I think the likes of myself and Mark both said we could see Minton and Clayton playing that holding midfield role if needed as well. They both seem technically capable of doing so.
Yeah, Minton played that defensive midfield role in the JPT. He certainly played it against Palace.
You're a bit old school there. It's the PJT now.
Is it?
Papa John's trophy.
What did I say?
Johnston's Paint Trophy.
Oh, all right. The Mickey Mouse Cup.
There we go.
And he played it against Crystal Palace, and even though it was their so-say youth side, that was going hell for leather that game. That wasn't any give me, and he held his own, and he had a really good game. So yeah, he could slot him in there easily.
Interestingly, he's also listed on the team website as a midfielder and not a defender.
Yeah, I know he said he sees himself as a defender primarily, but good coaching. Let's see where he goes.
So, Nick, I'll stick with you. You get to go first this time. Attack, where we seem to have an abundance of option.
Where'd you start?
Look at this list. It's a who's who. It's an absolute who's who of forwards.
Well, obviously, you pencil Charlie Austin in straight away. And what's it? Anyone from
it's a bit
2,
like
3,
anyone
4,
else.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So
9.
Where before was saying it's all of the others Williams, are you saying it's all of the others Austin?
Absolutely. I mean, as we've said, Austin is going to improve the likes of Jeff Cott, Wakeling, any forward. Hepburn Murphy, if he can just get that first goal, and he's going to be flying. We can see what a player there is there. And even our favourite player, Shade. There is a player in there. And I'm just so hoping that Jody Morris can bring that player out. Because
I'm hoping Jody can get it out of Adeloy.
And as well as, who knows? I mean, my games with my lad, he's like 80% of fools, just slates him all match. Whatever he does is wrong. It's like, give it a rest. I would just love him to come on and show what he can do. He's just got the build of a footballer. Everything is there, and whether he will or not.
I have the build of a WWE superstar. Doesn't mean I'm winning the World Heavyweight Championship anytime soon.
Yeah, but you haven't been coached properly.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
We have to obviously say, as I've got along the ticker there, we wish young Roberts the very best of luck as he goes out on loan today. I believe it's to Aldershot.
Aldershot. Yeah.
I think that's quite a good move for him, actually, and hopefully he will come back even better than... Again, I think there's a player there. From the small snippets I've seen, I think there's a player there. So hopefully he'll come back after playing slightly higher than where he was, I believe, and come back a better player in the summer. Ben, let's play devil's advocate, if I can, because we all know that fools rush in is something of a jinx. So say touch wood, it doesn't happen, obviously. Say Charlie was to get injured. Our issue all season has been goals. When you look at the rest of the names there, obviously they've all been here for the allotted time. Under Jody's stewardship and coaching, do you think there's enough goals in those names there with Austin out of the list?
Yeah, because there's a player inside Jeff Cott. There is he's been the main man when they got promoted. Plymouth got promoted under Lowe. He's 22 years old. He's got 100 games under his belt. He's had a promotion under his belt. He scored goals in League One and League Two. There is a better player than we're seeing at the moment. Hopefully, he can instill that confidence in him. And Charlie's words to be the player that he can be, hopefully can install that into him a little bit. Hopefully Wakelin discovers his early season form again, because his confidence throughout the season slowly is disintegrated, and hopefully that picks up again. Hepburn Murphy's only just getting a load of games in now. He's looking a threat most games. I think there's lots of goals in that team because we create lots of chances. And as again, we've got a newer manager with hopefully a more attacking thought to the previous regime. So hopefully, yes, answer your question.
Okay. And was there anything from you on the attacking setup?
If it's Austin, isn't it? And then it's one, loads of them from either side. I think, you know what I mean? It's going to be, at the moment, for me, it's Hepburn, Murphy and Wakelin, isn't it? That's the two that look like they're going to line it. If we play that 4-3-3, that's the two that are going to be the ones either side. Jeff Cott will come in for Austin if we need him to, or he'll come on in games where, you know what I mean, we've got to remember that Austin might be took off after 70 minutes in some games that he's gonna need looking after, maybe.
During the week games, we need to look after him.
Yeah, so it's a difficult one because I can't see Wakelin getting in down the middle again. I think he's been put wide at the own detriment that Austin's come in, and now there's only one option between Austin and Jeff Cott. Wakelin's been pushed wide. Yeah. And that's it. And then you've got the likes of Shade. You've got the likes of, you know, I mean, Morgan Roberts has gone out on loan, which I think is great for him because he needs those minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we needed to see, like Nick said earlier, one of those fullback options push a bit higher. You know what I mean? The likes of Tomlinson, Hutton, Lavinier, they could probably do a job in one of those higher positions. Can you imagine Hutton puts decent balls in from fullback? Could you imagine?
Like Nathan Byrne used to do.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, Nathan Byrne's a classic example, isn't it? Started off with us as a fullback, and then come forward, and he was playing as a really exciting winger by the end of when he left us, or you know what I mean? So it's one of those. There's loads of options if we need them, but at the moment for me, it's Austin, Hepburn, Murphy, and Wakelin, and I couldn't agree with the lads more. That Hepburn Murphy just needs a goal. Yeah. What he needs is just what he needs. If he gets that one, he looks lively. His pace looks frightening. You know what I mean? I think he's got a bit about him as well. He's like you can tell he's played at that bit higher level, that he's got that swagger and that little bit of arrogance about him that he's like, no, get me on the ball because that's what I want to be. And he wants to score. And I just think he needs one that's just going to hit his backside and go in. And then I think he could start, you know what I mean? He could start proper scoring some goals for us. So he could be very exciting if we keep him fit. But yeah, I've got no concerns at the top end of the pitch. And I think Morris will get the most out of all of these.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on then away from the squad and let's do the weekend preview. So the women's team to start off with, because I know you guys are going to want to talk extensively about Jody's first game. So let's just start briefly with the women's team, as I've got along the ticker there. The Swintown women will be travelling to the South Coast to play Bournemouth this weekend. There was no action for them last weekend, you might recall. But the development side did win 1-0, I believe it was, with a debutant, or I say debutant, a first starter scoring the goal. So congratulations to the development side. But yes, the first team travel to Bournemouth this weekend. And as always, we send the very best of luck to the women's side. As for the men,
didn't I read, Fifey, that the development team keeper saved a last-minute penalty as well?
I do believe that is correct, Nick. Yes, well remembered.
So credit for there.
Mhm.
Absolutely. As for the men's team, then it's a lunchtime kickoff. Remember, anyone going, you have to set off a little bit earlier because it's an early kickoff. Where do we start with this? Wazza. We've spoken already a lot about how excited everyone is that Jody is in. And we've spoken just there quite in depth about the options available to him. But how do you think he is going to play?
I can see it. I think we'll win tomorrow. I honestly do. I think we're going to get that new manager bounce. I think there's going to be an extra 10% in all of the lads. I think they're going to want to impress. They're going to want to show, show the new manager what they're all about. It's going to be a tough game because it's seen as a bit of a derby, and a bit of form can go out the window. It's one of the closest games that we have to play.
Geographically, I believe it's our closest game this season.
Yeah, it is. And
this is our local derby.
Yeah,
It's another country.
Yeah. It's crazy. But they haven't been in great form. I've just been looking back at home. They haven't, they seem to draw a lot of games at home. Whether that means that they don't put the impetus on, and whether we can implement our style and what Morris wants us to do, and whether we're good enough to do that. I really do fancy us tomorrow. I think we'll give a good account of ourselves, and I think we'll proper go for it. And I think it'll be a good start for Morris. I think an away game's good. He can release the shackles and just, let's have a good go.
Nick, you've got a request in there?
If I was going to the game, unfortunately I'm not, I would happily give your daughter a lift to the station tomorrow. So really, really sorry, Sean. I can't help you on that one.
While you're in the mood there, Nick, tell us, what are you expecting, not from the game itself, but what are you expecting Jody to do? Do you think he'll tinker too much with what's been going on the last couple of games?
From what he said, I don't think the team will be too much different. He's already said 2 or 3 days isn't enough. 2 or 3 months isn't enough, but it is what it is, and he's got to get on with it. So I can't see him making wholesale changes. Fitness of players will be a big factor because there's sort of doubts over a couple of players. So I think it's going to be fairly similar to the side. He wants them to play a bit differently. He's obviously done some stuff in training. Hopefully he hasn't overloaded them too much with what he wants, and that they can take on board how he's going to play it. So I don't think there'll be a revolution. It's going to change gradually. I think he will make good use of substitutes. He's already said that. You've got a squad, and if he needs to use them, he will use them. So expect a number of subs to be made throughout the game. So I think it'll be building on the last 2 games, ignoring the first half from Gillingham, it'll be on that basis for me.
All right, Ben, what are you expecting from Jody in his first game?
I think they'll be quite competitive. I think they're going to try and go and win the game and get the job done, and playing good aggressive football. I think Newport probably will be up for it as well, though, more than usual, because they'll know a new manager bounce. They'll also know that there's going to be a big crowd there, so they're going to try and poop on the party. But I think we'll just be better at the end of the day. And I
think the perfect phrase for what you've been saying about the style of play the last 2 games is waxing lyrical about Gunning's sort of all-out attack, fuck defending approach. Are you expecting Morris to deploy something similar to make you happy, or are you going to be cutting a frustrated figure because he might build it on a solid defence?
No, I've said Gunning's football is Hail Mary football. I said it was the polar opposite to Scott Lindsay's, where Scott Lindsay's was very, very cautious, wait for something to happen. Gunning was charge. I think we're going to have happy medium there. I think we're going to be patient. We're going to, we can't go completely gun-ho. What happened at Gillingham will happen again. But I think we can force the issue because we've got better quality players, and I think we'll create openings and take some risks. I think there were calculated risks rather than take no risks under Lindsay.
Okay. Let's go reverse order then. So stick with you, Ben. Overall, how much are you looking forward to the game tomorrow? And can I get a score prediction from you, please?
Buzzing for the game tomorrow. Got them working, so I can't go. Score prediction 2-0, Swindon.
2-0, okay. Nick, you looking forward to it, or are you a bit sort of unnerved about it? I know in the we should say worth a plug. Like I say, you appeared on a young lad Kieran's podcast earlier today. We have retweeted it from our socials, so if you get the chance to go and see it, then please do. But you seem to come across fairly positive on that, Nick.
Yeah, I am positive. I mean, I'm gutted I didn't try harder to get a ticket. I want to go now. I've been down there a couple of times, and I think we got beat both times. I predicted earlier that we'd win 2-0. But I look at it past results. We've all said it's a hard place to go, and we always struggle. We beat them last season, which included an own goal, so we had a bit of luck to get that win. Prior to that, it was loss, draw, loss. And the previous one we won was Boxing Day, 1980, with a 2-0 victory in Cammy scored. So that shows how long ago it is that we've had a victory there. Now, obviously, there were lots of seasons that we didn't play each other because we were in different leagues. But it's going to be hard. I see they've stopped selling tickets now, so presumably the home fans are sold out. I was misinformed earlier where I posted, check your facts before you post. They've only given us 400 tickets, and I thought they'd join the Green Weekend by restricting how many Swindon people drive down the motorway. But we've actually got 1,000 tickets, so there's going to be a brilliant atmosphere down there. Having the early kickoff, and obviously the police have dictated that, so that for whatever reason, I guess it's to keep people out of pubs before going to the game for 3:00. And it is always a good atmosphere down there. So I've been down there a couple of times, and the Swindon fans will be absolutely buzzing. You've got the added incentive of Jody Morris's first game. Yeah, God, I wish I was there. So, but 2-0.
Okay.
Straight 2-0.
Was it?
Yeah, I agree with the lads. It's just a very exciting. It's the start of a new era for a head coach that we're hoping is going to excel and and do everything that we want him to do. It's going to be a toughie. We've all said it's going to be a hard game. Newport are always bang up for it. They're difficult to play against at home. But I just fancy us. I just think we'll have that edge, and I just think we'll have that need and that want to proper impress. So I could see us, I could see us scoring a few goals tomorrow. I fancy us. I think 3-1 Swindon tomorrow. Okay,
nice. Ever the optimist, as I always say when it comes to this point. One of the few things during an episode I really do like to give my opinion on, and I'm gonna go over the top positive. Realistically, I understand this is unlikely to happen, but I sense a 4-0 coming on. Come on, Swindon.
Fifey, we need Craig on, because whenever the podsters all predict a win.
Shall we do a quick Craig prediction? Wow, looking at you
1-1.
on our history there, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, 1-1, Craig, 1-1.
Oh, I think we might. I think they're better than we give them credit for. I think it's going to finish 1-1.
Has to be said, a big thank you to regular viewer stroke listener John, who messaged me earlier today saying, "Have you got a quiz for tonight?" And I said, "No, we haven't got one lined up." He said, "Leave it with me," and leave it with him. I did, and we have one. As Sean predicts, 3-1. Of course, anyone else still watching, send us your predictions in the chat. We will flash them up on the screen. So, boys, it's I'm not going to tax you too hard. And John hasn't taxed you too hard with this. What he has come up with, but because he knew we were going to be discussing the end of the transfer window as the main piece today, he has sent me a list of 15 previous transfers. I'm allowed to give you the club and the year, and you have to tell me who the player is we signed. So when I say the club, it will be who we signed them from. And there is the man himself. Thank you very much, John. As he says, good luck, lads. As is traditional, when John does these, he's put them in date order as well. So unfortunately, it wasn't. We start in the older ones, and then we get closer to your era where you start to excel.
Cool,
so the very first one. Let's see how this goes. You can work as a team. It's not a competition. We're just seeing if fools actually do know anything about Swindon Town, really. And as we know, this doesn't often go very well. I do believe there's a typo in the first one. I'll tell you what it says, and then I'll tell you what I believe it should say. It says Huddersfield in 1888. Now, what I believe it should say is Huddersfield in 1988. I
thought so.
But there's no fees. No fees involved in this. It's just the year and the club. So who would we have signed from Huddersfield in either 1888 or 1988?
Chris Hay?
No. Sean is in already.
Sean is on. Sean loves these.
Sean absolutely loves these quizzes.
Shearer. Now, 1888, 1980. I thought it was 1998. Right.
No, not 1998. Okay, you've got the idea now, guys. We go to number 2. The year is 1993, and the club is Motherwell.
Motherwell, Luke Nyholt.
Luke Nyholt is correct, Ben. Well done. We move forward a year, 1994, and the club is West Ham United.
1994. Joey Beecham.
Joey Beecham is correct, Ben. Ben is on fire in the early 90s.
Come on, Ben.
He loves it.
My era.
We go to 1995, and we raid Blackburn Rovers.
Thorpe. What's his name? Striker. Not Thorpe. Thorne. Peter Thorne.
Peter Thorne is correct.
Gets the ball. Peter Thorne.
Go on, Ben. Smashing this one out of the park. We move forward just a couple of years now, 1997. And we go north of the border to Celtic.
Hay.
Chris Hay is correct.
That was the Hay one.
Nick is in the game.
I'm in. I'm happy. I've got one.
1999. And we go to Peterborough.
1999 and Peterborough. Danny Invincible?
No. He was an answer in a quiz the other day, if it helps. GG.
Gordon Greer.
No. Not in 1999, Nick, no.
Well, it's just initials. I don't know years, so I can't do it.
Gav Gunning.
No, not Gunning, no.
Grazioli.
Correct.
Wow.
Grazie. I'm going to sing all the songs now.
We come to the new millennium and the year 2000, and we go to the Marconi Stallions.
Marconi Stallions. Migloranzi.
No. Come on, Ben, you got this. It's on the tip of your tongue. You literally said it 2 minutes ago.
Oh, bollocks, just had a lot of names.
Don't let Sean get in there first, lads. Come on.
Oh, what's it?
Wazza, who did Ben say 2 minutes ago?
Danny Invincible.
Danny Invincible. Well done, Wazza. Wazza's in the game. We go forward
my
a few more
short-term
years
memory.
now. And it's just a local-ish transfer, not a million miles away. In 2004, we went to Watford for...
Buatsa.
No.
Moses Ashakodi.
No, you're a bit early. Bit early for that, Wazza. 2004, we went to Watford. Yeah, Sean did get there in the end, look.
It's invincibility.
Do you want a clue?
Yeah.
He's featured on Fools Rush In.
Oh, Gerald Eiffel.
Gerald Eiffel was it?
Yeah.
Very well done.
Watford. Yes, Watford.
4 years later, so 2008, we went to Reading for...
A few claps.
He got a few caps in his international career, Ben.
Reading. What year, sorry?
2008.
2008, Reading. Right. Oh, Paul Ince.
No. Played as a striker.
Curitan.
No.
No.
2008. Tony Thorpe.
No. Come on, guys. If I ask you to pick a
Simon
striker,
Cox.
Simon Cox, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Ben, you should have got that.
Fucking hell, lads.
See, well, past the 90s when I was a kid, you see.
Well done, Nick.
Everything.
Ben's met beer by this point.
Yeah.
2000. Oh, I wonder if we'll get this one. 2009. We went to non-league Poole Town.
Charlie Austin.
Around for that one.
Charlie.
2 years later, we went to the South Coast to get a player from Portsmouth.
Matt Ritchie.
Matt Ritchie. Now Wazza's ticking
Yeah,
up.
was his in.
Another 2 years later, we remain on the South Coast, but slightly over a bit, as we went to Brighton for...
Gordon Gray.
No. Just to update you, lads, Sean did get Eiffel. He did get Ritchie. He did get Cox. Malk, Evening Malk, he got Cox.
He should come on, old Sean.
Just for the quiz.
Just the quiz. Come on for the quiz to see how much the quiz master actually is.
Brighton. Unfortunately, Sean, it wasn't Greer.
What year again? Brighton.
2013.
13. Oh, come on, we should know this one. Brighton 2013.
He recently, if it helps, got announced as signing for a new non-league club, and he did get international honours.
Yasser Kassim.
Yasser Kassim is correct, was it?
Yasser Kassim.
Brighton, was it?
We're going forward a few more years now to 2017, and we raided Morecambe for what Disney superstar? Disney superstar.
Mickey Mouse.
No, we didn't sign Mickey Mouse.
Oh.
But why might I be referring to him as a Disney superstar?
Aladdin?
No, not Aladdin. Maybe he features on something that's on Disney Plus.
Oh, Paul Mullin.
Paul Mullin, well done, Wazza.
Oh.
Sean got there.
Oh, yeah.
Just as Wazza says it, Sean did get there. Look with Mullin.
I was about to say Luke Skywalker.
You'll be pleased to know, guys, there is 2 left. Just 2. The year is 2018, and the only club to feature twice on this list as we go back to Peterborough.
Joe Tomlinson.
No.
No, 2018.
Oh god, that was only a few years ago. Sorry. Oh my god, where am I at?
Well, 2018 wasn't really that long ago.
No.
5 years ago. Peterborough. We started in Peterborough in 2018.
Phenomenal hair.
Zakwani.
No.
No, he's a free agent, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean he's that centre back, wasn't he?
That was the centre back. Yeah, you missed it obviously earlier, man.
Centre back with the hair.
Oh no, Sean's got it.
Sean has got it indeed. Well done,
Oh,
Sean.
30.
Not messing about at all.
Oh, not that one though. Oh.
No, I was merely pointing out, Ben, that earlier when you referred to the centre back with the hair, we did get a comment which I flashed up on the screen from Mike saying, "Does he mean Zakuani?"
Yeah, I did. Yeah, mad hair.
Last one then. The year is 2021. And we go to a different country again as we go to Wales and to Cardiff to sign 2021 from Cardiff in Wales.
Johnny Williams.
Johnny Williams. Well done, Wazza.
See, I'm really crap at these modern ones. Give me something from 1992. Motherwell, Luke Nighthall. I'm away.
I'm quite impressed, guys. Between you did quite well there. There was a little bit of prompting, but not as much as maybe some were expecting. Listen, good luck to both the men's team and the women's team this weekend. Hopefully both sides get the victories. Anyone going to Newport, remember it is an early kickoff, so set off at the appropriate time. But enjoy it. As we always say, be loud, be proud, and bring home the points. Wazza, Ben, Nick, it's been an absolute delight spending Friday evening with you. As much as I have also loved spending it with everyone in the chat from Facebook and from YouTube, as well as those who have tweeted in, thank you very much. And if you are listening back, maybe you've taken us on the journey to Wales with you. Thank you very much for picking Fools Rush In. We really do appreciate it. From all of us here, thank you for watching. Come on, you Reds.
Jody Morris, Bobby, on me.
Have an excellent weekend.
New door.
Goodbye.
Come on, boys.
Take my hands, take my whole life too, but I can't help falling in love.